Hello, fellow vapors. Vaping newbie here, and went out on a road trip. And this time I went in the complete opposite direction. I went to the West Island or West End of Montreal, West Island of Montreal, to a suburb called Roxborough, and went to visit Boulevard Vapes and or Vape Boulevard, and it's right beside the Trans Canada, right as you exit the 40 at St. Charles. So if you're coming through Montreal, it's convenient and it's a really nice little shop. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things today, but let's look at the shop. Let's give it a little a look. And I pulled a bonehead move, and I forgot the memory card for my video camera, so I used my iPhone. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's take a look. Boulevard Vapes in the West Island of Montreal. And it's good to see these things are growing. I'm usually in the East End, and thought I'd drop by one. Out here, Boulevard Vapes, they have a lot going on. They have a lot of H cigar products, which is always good. Got some drippers, some RTAs, some clone mechs. Always nice to have. They have the tools for rebuilding. And again, we get into the drippers. They got that Doge that everybody's talking about. We come over here and we're into Enokin Paradise. I think how most of us started out. But one of the things I want to show you that they have here that I haven't seen out on anywhere yet is the new MVP 20 watt. So kudos to them for having that. And of course, everybody's new favorite, the iStick. The Aspire, the sub-ohm battery is here, of course, as well as the Atlantis. And I see over there that they have the Kangar, which is my personal favorite. Here we got the beginner kits, all the eco styles, and then I'm going to just pan up here, and I'm sorry it's kind of shaky there, folks, but they have a full juice bar, and what a freaking menu they have. Really nice. So I just wanted to give them a shout, and I just really came to pick up my Lemo. So here we go. Boulevard Vapes. So that's the inside, and what you can't see is the service you get. And one of the things that I found was amazing there is for people that are buying their first rebuildable, when they're discussing it with the sales staff on the floor, the sales staff will do their first build. They'll sit down and do a build for them to walk them through it, so they don't have to watch on a video. They can actually get hands-on training. Take a look at this. Xavier, and he's wrapping a nickel chrome wire, and he's using a screw, a little screw, and the threading on a screw is allowing him to space it out. So this is what I was talking about before, about how they help out their clients. And it comes out, let me see if I can zoom in on that. It comes out really perfect. Nice job, Xavier. Nice job, guys. Before we get to why I went there, we're going to discuss the Lemo, and we're going to discuss one juice. There will be a second video to discuss other juices, but I just want to take you through their shop and know that their service online is just as good. So let's take a look at why I went there. So nothing like a really clean desk to show off something, but it is what it is, folks. And I'm going to be looking at two things tonight. The Eleaf Lemo and a juice that I picked up today from Boulevard Vapes. So many of you may have seen this already. The Eleaf Lemo, it is a rebuildable tank atomizer, and what a beast it is. You take that off, the little slide part, you end up with the tank, and we'll look at that a bit more. You lift off this separator piece, you have a user's manual, like any of us really look at that, but in some cases you really should. And underneath that, you have a whole batch of goodies. They do have nice diagrams on builds and the taking apart of the Lemo. And you have this massive baggie with spare O-rings, that screwdriver, some spare screws, and what I believe is a ring you put on the bottom. We're going to talk about that later in plastic. They even give you some cotton, some organic cotton balls, and a whole slop, and I mean a whole slop of Cantal, so good for them. Well done, Eleaf. Now, I'm going to reverse the camera. I'm going to change the camera angle. We're going to come back and look at the tank. We're looking at the tank now, and it is big. It's a 23 millimeter tank, or possibly even a 24, so if I was to put this on my device, there would be, and this is really my go-to device, there would be a slight overhang, but that really wouldn't bother me. You can see It's a very, very wee bit of an overhang, so it's not that big a deal. So we'll call it 23 millimeter and be done with it. It does have an exchangeable drip tip, so if you don't like the drip tip that comes with it, you can flip that around, it's not a problem. Stainless steel in Canada in the winter. We have to change that sucker out for outdoors. All stainless steel, glass tank, which allows you to put any juice you like in. The base has the silver-plated 510 connector. And then to access the build deck, you don't want to unscrew it at the bottom. No, no, no. You unscrew the top. And you really want to be careful here because it is a glass tank and that can fall real easily. So you want to hold on to that while you're unscrewing it. It has a K-Fun-esque build deck to it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. K-Fun-esque dual chimney. The chimney has its own O-ring right there. And then you also have an O-ring in the top. You can't, maybe you can. A little white O-ring on the top. So you're going to get a good seal in there. And this already came pre-built, so I don't know if you can see that really well, but that looks like it's fine. So let's give it a fire and see what it says about it. Okay, well the read that I get on it, it's a 1.2 ohm coil, so that seems to be fine. And there we go. Seems like a lot of drag time for that. I'm gonna have to switch this out. But maybe for the intents and purposes of this video, it may be just fine now. Now, what's on the inside? There is that base that screws off. And we'll take a look at that. Oops, everything's falling. And we remove that. And you access the interior of the build deck. Or I'm sorry, the interior of the base. And on the interior, and I don't know if you can see that, but let's take a look. Whoops, there you go. You'll see at 12 o'clock there's a little Phillips head screw. That's the fill hole. And then furthermore on it, I'm hoping I can see it, you can see a plus and then a minus sign, and that is the airflow control. So right in the door, and I know that there's other videos, this is my take on it. Right in the door I think to myself, that means that I want to fill it, I got to A, carry a screwdriver, B, take it apart to fill it. So you want to make sure that you get a good amount of juice in there and it'll last it for quite a while. If I want to adjust the airflow, I need to take that off the base. So again, what I'm probably going to do is just set it all up and adjust the airflow and set it and hopefully forget it. So I'm going to put some wick in here and we'll take a run at this. Hang on. Okay, so I changed my mind. I hated the coil. It seemed to take forever to heat up, so I pulled it out. But I wanted to show you something. I don't know if you could pick that up, but there are two little holes right there. So you do not have to wrap your wire underneath the screws. You can actually feed them through those holes, and it'll make the same thing. However, I'm going to build this like a K-Fun, and I think for my purposes, I think it would work better, and we'll see how that goes. Stick around. So I took out the coil, as I mentioned, built my own little micro coil in there, and I find that the reaction time, the heat up time, is a lot quicker. So that's why I like it. It's just the way I am. I guess I really didn't like the weight of the built coil that came in it. It's no big deal if you build K-Funs like I do. 5 minutes you're in and out. Comes in at 1.19 ohms, so it's exactly where I want it to be for this tank. And I'm going to put it all together. Take a look. Hi, rabbit-eared. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to take the extra cotton, cut that off. I'm going to tuck it down. And again, I'm not pressing. I should be showing you this. I'm not pressing. I'm just getting it down there. I'm going to prime it with some of this juice that I'm going to talk about a bit later. And let's see how this works. So far, so good, folks. So let me reassemble this, get some juice. Well, you know what? I'm going to walk you through the filling of the juice, but let me reassemble it, and I'll be back. So it's reassembled now. So to fill it, you have to remove the back here, take that off. I'm sorry, not the back, the bottom. And then again, you get that sub basement, as I'm going to start calling it. You remove that screw I was showing you before, that fill hole screw. And once it screws out, now you're going to be able to fill it. So luckily the juice that I'm going to be looking at tonight and all the juice, that's the 3-night juice line from Boulevard Vapes, has this little tiny top. So you can get that in real easily. And it holds about 5 milliliters of juice. I'm not going to put 5 in right off the top, but we'll get some juice in there. And now you got to put this screw back in. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. Sometimes this is hard for Sakey McPhee. I do notice the fill hole screw does not have an O-ring on it. So that has me sort of shaking my head. Now we'll put it all back together. I have to put that 510 base on. And put it on my device. This is actually going to be a good segue into the juice I'm talking about, and here we go. Okay, right out the bat, the juice is a lot tastier with my coil. I found I didn't like the taste I was getting off the coil, and which is the reason why I ripped it out. I liked the juice in the shop, and I thought, well, it doesn't go worse. If anything, it's going to get better. It's been steeping for an hour and a half. And I'm glad I changed out the coil. So this is at 15 watts. It's coming out at 1.1 ohms, so I'm guessing that's at 1.19 that I had. This juice is so tasty. Really good tank. This tank with my build will rival the K-Fun with my build. I really didn't like the build that came with it. I can't say that enough. If you're new to building, it's an easy one to build. It really is. I'm well known to saying K-Fun is the best tank to start with. I'm not so sure anymore. This rivals that. So a thumb up to Eleaf. It's a really nice tank. It's got the glass. It's got the airflow control. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain to access the airflow control. It's a bit of a pain to put juice, but I'm thinking I got about 4 milliliters of juice in there. I'm going to be good for a while. Now let's talk about the juice I put in there. Boulevard Vape has a line they call 3 Nights, and you'll see it on their website. I tasted about 8 juices today, and all of them were good. A couple of them were not in my flavor palette. Didn't mean they weren't good. They were good juices. And the one that I'm going to be talking about tonight, there will be 3 other in a future video. Let me first start by saying they pre-steep their juices for a 2 to 3 week period. One of the 3 juices I picked up today, they said, don't really start vaping it for another 2 or 3 weeks. So that's going to be a future video. Let that steep a bit. It was a fresh batch. This is the Swedish berry line, or Swedish berry flavor. And I picked that for a good reason. The packaging, very clear. I like it. 3 Nights, silver, black writing, easy for an old guy like me to read. It is 40% PG, 60% VG, and this has 6 milligrams of nicotine. All the warnings are there. Basic e-juice bottle in plastic, childproof cap, which I really like, and then it has that, as I mentioned previous, it has those little thin fill slots, if you will, or spouts, and that helps you get into everything. So let's talk about Swedish berries. I've been really disappointed trying to get a good Swedish berry juice, and I love Swedish berries, and I'm not a candy person, but this is really tasty. you get on the inhale, you get that mouthful of Swedish berry, and then it lingers on the tongue. So it's everything you want in a juice. And I found that with the 3 Nights line. And I really want to focus. They carry other brands, but let's talk about what separates them is their house brand. And this house brand is really good. Swedish Berries gets a double thumb up. I'm really enjoying it, which is why I changed the build on the Lemo, because I thought I enjoyed it too much for it to be tasting the way it was. Took out that build, threw in mine, and man, it's back. So really good Swedish berries. And again, taste is subjective. What you like, I might. What I like, you might not. It is in the Lemo at 1.19 ohms, and it's being vaped at 15 watts. Really, really tasty. So thank you to the guys at Boulevard Vapes. I think you got a really good product. I'm looking forward to doing the other 3 down the road in about a month or so. So I want to take time to thank them. And as always, I want to take time to thank you. And you know I like spending time with you, and I hope you found this helpful. Stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care, folks.